Hello and welcome to Elecspo, and back by popular demand once again. This is part 3 of the What If the Big Six Left the Premier League experiment. You guys have been loving it. It's all anyone's been talking about. I go to the shop and everyone's like, "Hey James, it's brilliant, when's part 3 coming out?" And as always I look back vaguely at them since you can't convey emotion whilst wearing a mask. But with this fictional situation behind me, it's now time for part 3. So far we've had 6 years of this new Premier League where the traditional Big Six have been binned off and sent to their own league. Who knows what they're up to, but what I do know is that the Premier League is now as exciting and as competitive as it's ever been. As I say, we've had 6 seasons and so far we've had 5 different winners, including 4 new winners of the top prize in English football. When we left things, Crystal Palace had just got their hands on the trophy, inspired by new summer signing Ryan Brewster. So let's simulate 3 more years, check in after every season and see if the excitement can continue in the new and improved English Premier League. Let's go. Okay, so here we are where we left things, the 8th of June 2025, and Crystal Palace have won their first ever Premier League title, pipping Burnley to top spot. Let's simulate 1 more year into the future. Let's see what happens. Can Crystal Palace defend their crown, or will we have another new winner? Let's go. Okay, so here we are, the 7th of June 2026, and as you can see, Crystal Palace have defended their Premier League crown, once again pipping Burnley to top spot. This time the gap wasn't as big, this time they only won it by 3 points, but it was enough to secure then their 2nd ever Premier League title and to follow in Everton's footsteps and become back-to-back Premier League winners in this new era for the English Football League. And on the face of it, it looks as though the European Champions League places have taken a dent. The top 3 have qualified, and so have Wolves in 8th. Now Wolves won the Europa League to secure their place in next season's Champions League, but West Ham in 4th have been put in the Europa League. Now I don't know if that's just because Wolves won and took their space, but normally it doesn't matter. So I'm thinking here that the Premier League have lost one of their European Champions League places. As you can see, West Ham came 4th. Goal differences cost them Champions League football. They were 12 goals behind Leicester, who came 3rd. West Brom were 5th, they've qualified for the Europa Conference League. They were only on 70 points, they were only 6 points off top spot. In 6th place is Everton, one of the star teams of this new simulation, and they'd way down in 6th, no European football coming there. Brighton, they've came 7th, they've got a Europa League place, which would maybe tell me that they've won a cup competition. But let's look further down the league. Leeds haven't performed, Newcastle poor again. To be honest, they're looking more likely to be going down than actually winning anything. But relegated this year, we've got Nottingham Forest going down by 2 goals with Cardiff surviving. Southampton are going to be joining them, that's a surprise. And Birmingham City. Birmingham City on their return to the top flight. I mean, they've won 3 games all season. 15 points on the board. Paul Clement, the manager. I mean, let's have a quick look at the schedule. This isn't going to be good. Oh, it's ugly. It is very ugly indeed. Their wins came against Bournemouth, Watford and Nottingham Forest. They haven't won a Premier League game in the year 2026. I mean, absolutely rotten. No wonder they went down. They're heading straight back down to the Championship. But who will be replacing them? Let's quickly find out now. It will be Brentford have beaten Derby in the... You've got to feel for Derby. Every year they lose in the playoff final. Yet again they've been beaten. Brentford winning it this time. And also joining them back in the Premier League will be Swansea, the winners of the league, with 98 points. And Norwich City on 95 points. We'll have a look here. Barnsley are looking like they could once again win promotion. This time they've made it into the playoffs. We'll have a look elsewhere in the league. There's no other real surprises. Sunderland have been relegated. Portsmouth, they're in the Championship. Swindon are there, Bristol Rovers are there, but these teams don't really look like actually getting promoted, so that's a shame for them. Let's go back to the Premier League. As we say, Crystal Palace the winners, Burnley in 2nd. Burnley, a picture of consistency, never finished lower than 4th. Well, that's a lie actually. Since 2022 they've never finished lower than 4th. Sean Dyche, still the man, just dominating. Absolute dominance from Sean Dyche, a man who people say I look like for no reason other than the fact that I'm ginger, which is a load of shite. Have a look at the stats here. Ian Santos, that regen we mentioned in part 2, he's the top scorer, he's the best player in the league, 21 goals. Just behind him was Troy Parrott once again, and then Luka Jovic of Everton with 19 goals. Let's see how much he cost. £32 million, and this is his first real exceptional season in an Everton shirt. But still, it wasn't good enough for them to get in the top 4. So I'm going to look at Brighton now because we're going to assume they've won a cup competition. We'll check their schedule. Let's see what it was. And it was the FA Cup. They beat Aston Villa 2-1 after extra time. Steven Bergwijn putting them in front. And then it was Robert Terrace in extra time. What an awful name that is for Bobby Terrace. But he's got the job done with the winner in extra time for Brighton. Brighton consistently winning trophies now. Let's see who won the League Cup. Brighton were beaten in the semi-finals. But in the final, it was West Ham who won it. Beating Crystal Palace 3-2, the league winners, the dominant force now of English football. This went to extra time as well. Another domestic cup final going to extra time. It seems to happen every year. And it's happened again here. West Ham 3, Crystal Palace 2. Let's see what happened. It was Thomas Partey in extra time. That's a big player for West Ham. Let's quickly click on him. Thomas Partey, they got him on a free from Arsenal. He's been doing well in an Arsenal shirt wherever they're playing, but he's gone to West Ham now and he's won them a trophy. West Ham went 1 up, they were pegged back, they went 2-1 up, they were pegged back again by Michael Bay. Is he not an actor or a director or something? Anyway, went to extra time, Thomas Partey with the winner, 3-2 to West Ham. Is that West Ham's second trophy of this new era? Let's have a quick look. Yeah, they've won 2 FA Cups. So pretty good going for them. West Ham, you'd like to think a team in this situation would be pushing higher up the league. And they've came 4th, only 5 points off top spot. So they could be a new team to potentially win the Premier League. West Brom as well, that's a surprise. Who's the manager? Slaven Bilic is still there. Has he been there the whole time? Let's have a look. Yeah, Slaven Bilic has been the West Brom manager for nearly 7 years. What a way to live your life. So what we'll do now is let's have a look at the European competition. Let's see what's been going on. Or maybe suggest that things aren't going well. Let's go straight to the Champions League. It was won by Barcelona. To the group stages we go. Burnley knocked out of their group. They came 3rd. Sheffield United came 3rd in their group. Leicester came 3rd in their group. But Crystal Palace made it through theirs. It was probably the easiest of the lot. They had Barcelona, Schalke and Bruges. And they've done really well, to be honest. Crystal Palace are a force now, to be honest. And that was the only English representation. Is that 4 clubs we've got? Yeah. So let's go to the knockout stages. I think Crystal Palace got knocked out in the first knockout round. Where are they? There they were. They were beaten by Real Madrid 5-3 on aggregate. So drew 2-2 at the Nou Camp, beaten 3-0 at Selhurst Park. So that was the end of that. Let's have a look in the Europa League, see what happened. Who was in the Europa League? Obviously Wolves won it. Good on Wolves. Where is the Europa League? There we go. Euro Cup holders Wolves. Who did they beat in the final? They beat... Wow, it was an all-English final. They beat Leicester 3-1 in Rotterdam. Fabio Silva, Rafa and Malcolm Boxall with the goals. That's another crap name for a regen. But he's not bad. He's not bad at all. Let's have a look at Fabio Silva. He was a star in episode 2. He's the number 9 now. 19 Premier League goals, only 1 assist, but 31 in all competitions. In Europe, he's been fantastic. One of the top players in England right now. Surprising to see he's actually still at Wolves. Let's see how the other English teams got on in the Europa League. We'll go to the group stage, see who's in that. Wolves came top of their group. Southampton came top of their group. Aston Villa made it through. That's quite a tough little group they had up against Sociedad, Olympiacos and Karabag. That was the only English representation in the group stages. To the knockouts, Sheffield United fell into it. They were beaten straight away by Marseille. Villa were beaten by Fenerbahce. Burnley and Leicester obviously made it through, and obviously so did Wolves. Why can't I see Wolves? Why aren't Wolves there? Am I missing something? Why are Wolves not there? I'm so confused. Why aren't Wolves in this knockout round? Who knows? They're there in the second knockout round and they beat Marseille. Oh, I'm very confused, but whatever. Burnley beat Standard Liège to make it through. Leicester beat Beitar Jerusalem to get through. And Southampton were knocked out by Zenit into the quarters, which is where Burnley were beaten by Sociedad. Leicester made it through against Zenit. And Wolves beat Schalke. They're on at the semis. Wolves just got past Roma. And Leicester just got past Sociedad. And as we say, Wolves won it in the end to claim top spot and qualify for the Champions League for the first time in this simulation, I think. So there we have it. That's the end of this first season of part 3. 2026, Crystal Palace once again the Premier League winners. Let's simulate another year in the future. Can they make it a hat-trick of Premier League wins? Let's find out. Okay, so here we are, the 6th of June 2027. We're into this will be the 8th season of the English Premier League in its new form with none of the big six. And Crystal Palace have done it again. How good are Crystal Palace nowadays? That's a hat-trick of Premier League wins. I believe Steve Cooper's still the manager. He is, I can't believe, of all the teams I thought would dominate this new Premier League, I didn't think it would be Crystal Palace, but they've done it. A hat-trick of victories, 82 points, beating Everton at the top spot, and then it was Brighton in third, getting that final Champions League space. Definitely England have lost a Champions League space, as you can see there. Only the top three getting in the Champions League. Leicester fourth, and Wolves down in fifth, only by goal difference missing out in the Europa League. Let's have a little look further down the division. Burnley down to 6th. What's gone on there? Is Sean Dyche has lost his job. That just shows where Burnley have come to. They have sacked Sean Dyche after 14 years and 199 days in the job. A Premier League title, a Europa League, and they've sacked him because Burnley have came 6th. That is... Oh, I'm shocked to my core. West Brom are down to 9th, West Ham down to 10th, but they've won a cup again. West Ham becoming the cup experts by the looks of things. Newcastle once again doing absolutely nout down in 12th. They've got Ivan Perisic as manager, which is quite odd, and Alan St Maximin as vice captain. I love St Maximin, but it doesn't really strike you as captain material. Going down, it's the three that came up, Brentford, Norwich and Swansea. That's a little bit of a worry I've got. The teams coming up just seem to be going straight back down. Is the gulf that big suddenly? I'm not quite sure. I don't know if it's because the lesser teams in the Premier League are now becoming stronger. I don't know, but it looks like it's been pretty cut and dry, the relegation space this year. Cardiff once again, 17th place, but this time they were 4 points clear. Bristol City mid-table, Villa 14th. Leeds a bit higher in 8th. Who's the manager there now? It's Adi Hutter, who... Good for Adi. It's a nice name. Ansu Fati's still a key player, obviously we'll mention him in part 2. Still doing very, very well in a Leeds shirt. Surprising to see him there, but whatever. Leeds, one of the biggest clubs in England nowadays. But Crystal Palace, the Premier League winners. Let's check out the cup competitions. Obviously West Ham have won one of them. Which one do we think it is? It was the FA Cup beating West Brom 2-1 in the final. Let's have a look at this game here. Pablo Fornals put the hammers in front. Kubo got one back for West Brom. I think he's a Real Madrid youngster. He is, but he's doing pretty damn good in a West Brom shirt. He's doing alright in a West Brom shirt. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. And then in the final, it was Fraser Hornby with the winner. An Everton Academy graduate. No, he came through at Northampton. Signed by Everton. He played for the champions Crystal Palace, and then they sold him straight away to go to West Ham, where he's done much better. He's played more football. He's doing better. Back in England, of course. So let's see who won the League Cup, if I can find it. West Ham were knocked out early. But it was Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace have done the double, beating Everton 2-1 in the final. This one was settled in normal time. They were 2-0 up, Angelo Gatti and Luis Suarez with the goals for Palace. I'm going to assume that's the Luis Suarez that plays for Watford, not shoulder biter Luis Suarez. Signed on a free from Granada, done really well. Good business that is by Crystal Palace. Luka Jovic got the goal for Everton, but it wasn't enough to stop Crystal Palace doing a double. Dear me. I don't know why I say dear me. I just don't want anyone dominating this, but it looks like Crystal Palace are at the minute. They were 5 points clear of Everton, who bounced back this time. Who's the manager there now? Paco Gemes, I think, was he the manager last time, or did he go to Leicester? Yeah, I think Paco Gemes went to Leicester. He's a wanted man again. He's wanted by Paris Saint-Germain, so obviously he's a big deal. He was the Leicester manager, I knew it. He got sacked there. Who's Leicester manager now? Marco Giampaoli. So that's what's happened in the Premier League. We'll have a look at the stats there. Gabriel Barbosa back to top spot, sharing the golden boot with Troy Parrott. Fabio Silva, the best player once again. Ian Santos doing well, that little regen. But let's have a look at the Championship. Let's see who's going up. Obviously Brentford, Norwich and Swansea going down. Who's coming up? It is... Oh, for goodness sake, Derby have been beaten in the playoff final again. How can this keep happening? Beat by Stoke this time, so Forest and Southampton coming straight back up, and they'll be joined there by Stoke City, who came third, but they've won the playoffs, beaten Derby County, man. I can't believe what's going on there. To lose so many playoff finals in a row. Surely one day they're going to come back up. Birmingham were relegated. They finished 8th, outside of the playoffs. Where Barnsley? Barnsley down in 11th. So once again, it's familiar faces in and around the playoff spaces. No real change, so that's a slight cause for concern. Let's go back up to the Premier League, which is down to 5th in the reputation stakes. It's dropped down behind Serie A and the Bundesliga. The English Super League's down to 2nd. The English Super League's an absolute sham, by the way. I'm pretty sure all those big clubs have lost all of their big players. Klopp's still the Liverpool manager, but I mean, there's no one really there. Kieran Evans, a regen's the best player. Have a look at the players. There's just no one. Rochedley Bazua, I mean, and Jordan Vera too. We'll go to Chelsea. Let's have a look what's going on there. Frank Lampard's still the manager. Fikayo Tomori, the skipper. Who have they got? They've got Werner, they've got Tomori, they've got Kepa. And that's about it. Like I say, so many of, pretty much everyone who was at one of these big clubs that got sent to the English Super League, they've all left. They've fled the nest. I mean, obviously the English Super League was a bust because I didn't make it right. But no, let's just pretend it all went wrong and those clubs are just floating into obscurity nowadays because of their greed. Let's pretend that's what's happened. But what we'll do now, let's have a look at the European places. Let's see what happened. Obviously, we've lost a bit of a quarter here. English clubs not great in the Champions League. We've had winners of the Europa League, we've had Wolves, we've had Burnley. But in the Champions League, let's have a look now. So Crystal Palace came 2nd in their group, they made it through. Wolves topped their group, that's pretty good, although it wasn't the toughest of groups. Leicester came 3rd, they'll drop down into the Europa. And who else have we got? Burnley, there they are. Burnley came 2nd, behind PSG. So let's go to the knockouts, let's see what happened. How far did the English teams go? Not very far at all, they all got knocked out straight away. Burnley beaten by Lazio, Palace beaten by PSG, that was close at least. Napoli beat Wolves, and that was it. So let's go to the Europa League. Obviously the Champions League, English clubs cannot cope. AC Milan won it this year, it was an all-Italian final this year, so that's interesting. To the group stages. West Ham came 3rd in theirs, should have got through that. Brighton topped theirs with ease. Who else have we got? That was it in the group stage. Obviously, Leicester dropped down. Let's go to the knockouts. Leicester smashed Frankfurt 6-2 on aggregate. Right, so does the team that drops out, why do certain teams not appear here? I'm really confused. Let's go to the second knockout round. Brighton got a bye? I don't understand why, but I mean, Dynamo Kiev's beaten them, so they're knocked out. So English teams did absolutely crap in Europe this year. It's no wonder we're losing the coefficient. I mean, when you've got Crystal Palace dominating things, you know we're in bother. But it's still exciting. It is still exciting. Let's simulate one more year into the future. Can anyone stop this Crystal Palace dominance? Surely someone can. Come on, anyone. Watford. Surely Watford can do it. They're sponsored by bloody Football Manager, I think. I'm sure they still are. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's find out. Let's simulate one more year into the future. Let's go. Okay, so here we are, the 10th of June 2028, the 9th season of this new Premier League, the final one we're going to look at today, and Crystal Palace are an unstoppable juggernaut that, I don't know who's going to stop them, the Avengers? I mean, that might even be too big a task for them. Crystal Palace have won 4 Premier League titles in a row, 86 points on the board, 2nd was Everton, and 3rd Leicester. Maybe this one hasn't been quite as exciting. Let's have a look down now. Burnley 4th, Wolves 5th and Brighton 6th. That top 6 has been pretty consistent now if I think back. Not a lot of fluctuation, so as the years have gone by, this was once one of the most exciting leagues in the world. And now, to be honest, it's kind of just going the same way as the Premier League used to be. You've got a top 6 there that doesn't fluctuate really. The teams below it from 7th downwards keep changing, but that seems to be about it. I would wonder if we can keep simulating this. Will the reputation of the Premier League just continue to drop? You can see there it's the 5th most reputable league in the world, technically the 4th because the Super League doesn't exist. So Crystal Palace 10 points clear of Everton in 2nd, and Leicester, those are the 3 teams who've qualified for Champions League football. Leeds and Sheffield United still in the top half. Newcastle still doing absolutely nothing, they haven't even won a cup. You can take out the top 6 of English football and Newcastle still can't get their hands on a bit of silverware. The mind boggles, but I mean, they've came 2nd in the Golden Boot. Rafael Leao, he's got 18 goals, that's nice for him. A £13 million arrival from Wolves. He's doing alright for Newcastle, so that's nice, I guess. But going down, Cardiff have dropped down, and they're going to be joining the Championship once again by Nottingham Forest and Stoke. Two teams that came straight back up, and they've been awful. 23 points for Stoke, 25 for Forest. Really poor. Southampton, they've got 44 points. They've done alright. Erik ten Hag, the manager there. So they've stayed up. Was it just a blip where they went down? I think that's the first time they've actually gone down. It was, but they haven't been particularly great. Fulham's João Resende, 19 goals, won him the Golden Boot, some Portuguese striker. Don't know anything about him. This is the first season he's actually done anything of note. But his goals have kept Fulham up. There just isn't any excitement anywhere. Crystal Palace have walked the title, whereas the relegation places, I mean, Cardiff was 6 points shy. Nothing really to get excited about. I mean, Burnley were nowhere near third. They were 5 points adrift. Villa nearly got into the Europa League. But that's quite disappointing. Crystal Palace just continuing to dominate. Steve Cooper, the man there. Let's have a look what kind of money they've been spending. So this season they've spent £296 million, 201 coming in. They signed Upamecano, Pedro Neto, Mason Mount. Big players now at Crystal Palace. The year before that they spent £166 million. And the year before that they spent £173 million. A lot of money being spent at Crystal Palace. Let's have a look at the team. They've got Dele Alli. How much did he arrive for? You're having a free from Tottenham. Crystal Palace, man, just spending a lot of money but doing great business. Upamecano hasn't had the best of first seasons by the looks of things. But that's alright. Coming from Barcelona for £46 million. That's still, I mean, it's a lot of money. Pedro Neto, how's he got on? 13 goals in all competitions. Winning his first Premier League title, signing from Man City. £79 million. That's a huge, huge fee for a club like Crystal Palace. Let's have a look. I mean, what's Leicester in that been spending? Let's go to Leicester. To the transfers. That's the wrong one. Transfer history, sorry. Leicester not spending as much money. 89 million there. 227 million pounds spent the season before in 2027. That is a lot of money. Grady Diangana potentially rising to £60 million. And what have they got to show for it? 2 goals and 2 assists in 2 seasons. That's crap. That's absolutely rubbish from Grady Diangana. So there we go. Let's have a look at the cup competitions. Let's see who's won them. So the League Cup was won by Crystal Palace once again, beating Sheffield United on penalties. 2-2 they drew at Wembley. Michael Bay getting on the score sheet again. Whoever Michael Bay is. He's Danish. Who actually is Michael Bay? Because it won't come to us. I want to say director, but I'm terrible with film, so I don't know. Let's say he's a director. Michael Bay. Well, he's a goal scorer anyway. Got himself on the score sheet in the FA Cup final. Sheffield United came from 2 down, and they've been beaten on penalties. How about the league? How about the FA Cup? Who's won that? How about the FA Cup? Who's won that? Everton have won it. Another one of the top teams. Who did they beat in the final? 4-0. They smashed Fulham. That's probably one of the most convincing cup finals we've seen here. Ben Godfrey, Gabriel Barbosa and Yari Vasharin. I'm not sure if that's how you say it, but it's how I'm going to say it. He got a brace. Ben Godfrey, centre midfield. Interesting from him. I wonder if he's played for England. Don't know why I said England like that. 26 caps for his country. That's nice. Well done, Ben Godfrey. So Everton won some silverware, but I mean, it's big clubs once again winning the trophies. I mean, where were the days when, I suppose before it was Crystal Palace we were getting excited about winning, whereas this year, they are just the big club. They made it to the quarter-final of the Champions League. Let's see what's gone on there. Bayern Munich winning it once again. Let's go to the group stage. Let's see how the English clubs got on. Everton made it through their group. PSG and Napoli, that's quite a hard group, but they've got through. Let's scroll down. Brighton made it through against Juventus, Lyon and Zenit. That's very good. Crystal Palace topped their group with Atletico, Shakhtar and Genk. And there you're only 3 representatives. Let's go to the knockouts. Let's see how they got on. Palace knocked out Dortmund. That's big. So Palace are becoming a force. You could say Brighton battered by Benfica. Everton made it through against Porto on away goals. Let's go to the quarterfinals. This is where it all ended for the English teams. Crystal Palace beaten by the eventual winners, Bayern Munich. And Everton were beaten by Barcelona 5-2 on aggregate. So they lost 2-1 and then they lost 3-1. Not too bad, but still, I don't think an English club's made it past the quarterfinals in this new incarnation. Let's go to the Europa League. Let's see if there's been any progress there. We'll go to the group stages. Leicester top their group, 6 wins out of 6. That's very impressive. West Ham top their group, 4 wins and 2 draws. But that looks to have been it for English clubs in the Europa League. Let's see how far they got. We'll go to the second knockout round because that seems to just be where they automatically go. West Ham made it through. They beat Shakhtar, but Leicester were knocked straight out by Roma to the quarters. That's where West Ham fell to Napoli. So English clubs just not doing the business. Let's have a look at the champion. Right, we're going to go to the Premier League, sorry. So relegated, we've got Cardiff, Forest and Stoke. Forest and Stoke going straight back down once again. Who's coming up? We have got... Right, well, at least this time Derby weren't beaten in the playoff final. So Swansea are coming straight back up, I think. Swansea are coming up. I'm not sure. There's so many seasons. They're all blurring into one. So they've beaten Brentford in the final 3-2. And Derby have done it. Derby are in the Premier League. They've avoided the playoffs this time. They've came second, 88 points on the board, and they'll be joined back in the Premier League by Norwich. I hope Derby don't do a Derby and do terribly in the Premier League. Let me know in the comments if you want me to keep this going and we can find out. It's almost becoming a little bit boring, touch wood. Touch wood, no, I don't want it to be boring. The reputation of the Championship's dropped down. The Israeli Premier League, the Kazakhstani Premier League and the Belarusian Premier League are more reputable than the English Championship. This is meant to be the most competitive league in the world. Oh, what have I done to English football? Have I ruined English football? Have I just turned it back into what it was, a non-exciting, soulless place but without the elite clubs? A world where Crystal Palace is the top team in English football? Crystal Palace are the representative in the Champions League for England. I mean, how long will it be until we've got less than 3 places in the top European competition? I thought I'd created something magnificent here and I'm not quite sure anymore. Crystal Palace have won the Premier League 4 times in a row, but we will leave it there. That is the end of part 3 of the What If the Big Six left the Premier League Football Manager experiment. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to keep this going. Normally I wouldn't go beyond 3 parts, but if there's enough demand for it, we'll keep this going. We will see what happens to the new Premier League. I mean, it's been 9 seasons, it's not new anymore. It's losing its reputation. Someone needs to stop Crystal Palace, man. Can they do it? But anyway, that is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. As always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Elecspo. But until next time, we will see you around.